So, we're back for the third part of the day. And that's going to be, just in case this is using the Bluetooth, I'm going to do handles. And we're going to do 3 different types of handles. First, there's handles being pulled off the mug itself. Second, applying handles that are formed outside and then applied. And third, creating strap handles or lug handles. I forget how, everybody has terms for these things, for the sides of the cooking pot. So we'll start with kind of the first set of handles that people normally do. And to accomplish those, start off with a bit of clay and form it into a rough carrot shape. Thicker at the top, thinner at the bottom. So what we're going to use is this part of the hand to create the actual handle. Now what we're doing is pulling the clay down, stretching it out, flipping it around, because, well, that's where the handle fits in the hand, so it's the right shape. And what we're creating here is probably handles for like about 2 mugs. If you notice, it's kind of wing curved, because that's where your hand will hold it, and stretched out. I've pulled a couple of these to begin with, so I wouldn't, because they need to sit and rest a bit, and so they won't mess up, hopefully, the mug itself. I gotta put the other side in because it's pulling weird. So, these are the mugs that I made yesterday. Already cleaned off the bottom, as you can see. Do you know what the weight of clay is that you started with? Not for the handles, for the mugs, 2 pounds. They should end up holding 32 ounces, sort of, by the time we're done. We're going to use our friend, the little scoring tool, and create a spot at the top of the mug. And everybody does their own sort of handle. Everyone's handles are different. I don't like my handles to go above the top of the mug. I want them to sit flat when they're on the shelf in the cupboard. So what I'm doing is cleaning off one of my other tools, a paint scraper, because I've got one of these long handles, and what I'm going to do is cut it at an angle here, and we won't worry about the bottom at this point. So, see, we have a cut edge, and we're going to use our tool again, and this time just poking holes, increasing surface area. It's all about the science of surface area. See? Now, we're going to stick that handle on here. Get it basically attached. Figure out how long that handle needs to be. About there. Because we don't want that sticking out too far. Attach it at the bottom. Kind of messed up my foot a little bit, but You know, that's all right, we can clean that up. We need to clean up this top attachment point and the very top where the user actually sees it. We can hide some of the sins with glaze. But it needs to be, one, well attached, and two, we don't want any big holes. We also don't want any sharp bits because that'll just cut up the user's fingers. Wet fingers clean things off. We also then want to revisit trying to get a, hey Tom, thanks. Trying to get it as round as possible. And what we're going to do then is have it sit upside down, because again, gravity will pull the handle down into the right shape. We want this fairly close, that's just fine. And that's how to make that sort of handle. I'll come back and do one more of each of these after we do the different styles. So the second one is, start with a small amount of clay. Oh, that's not enough. And again, I don't know the size of the amount of clay that we need at this point. I'm going to make it into a ball and then into a carrot shape. Thicker at the top, thinner at the bottom. I'm going to smack it down on the table to flatten it out so we don't have curves on both sides. We just got curves on, we don't have curves on the top and bottom, we have just curves on the side. At that point, we stick holes in, increasing surface area. Our mug that we're going to attach it to. Score it, make sure that it's nice and wet and ready. Take it and stick it on. Securing it on all sides. And then we let this set aside. And we take one that we prepped earlier, because they need to sit for just a little bit. And now we're going to form this into a handle. Same procedure, a wet hand, pulling that handle down and out. This is a faster way of doing lots of handles. This is the sort of way a production potter is going to put on handles. We flip it sideways, again trying to get about the right size. Tail goes off to the recycle area. Smush the base in, give it a bit of a curve. Clean up around the top. Where's my paintbrush? Clean it up a little bit more. Notice we have a nice little curve that goes into this part. Straighten out that handle. Again, we're going to then take that, setting it upside down, off to dry. Damn it. This was a mug. Gravity is horrendous. Oh well, it's only mud. Let's do another one of those. Got our handle on there, our carrot I should say. You know, there's a lot of places that we can ruin our pottery along the way. We shouldn't get attached because we know that it's going to fail sooner or later. Again, that's a pretty good curve. Oftentimes when people first start making pots, the mistake that they have, biggest mistake, is they put big wide handles out there. I don't know why that's the tendency, but we see it all the time. Much happier keeping it just big enough to put your hand through, remembering of course that it's going to shrink. Cleaning up around the edges. Very nicely shaped handle. Off to the side. Does that make sense so far? Sad bud, bad grab it. Very true. Thank you, Kirsten. But that's the way life goes. You know, when I'm making the Luther pots, I normally lose about 50%. It's kind of a sad thing. If I would learn to be more careful, it would work much better. All right. So now we have our cooking pot. Like I said, this is high fire, so it's only going to be used in the oven. And what I want are handles on the sides so that I can easily pick it up. Again, we see that we have the right colored clay. Smart people, because I'm not always the brightest bulb in the marquee, smart people only work with like one type of clay at any given time. Or reality, most people only work with one type of clay at all. At any given time, I will have red and white coarse, low fire for cookware, and one or more high fire types of clay for mugs, bowls, that sort of thing. Someday I'll learn. So, this type of handle. Trying to figure out how much clay to use. That's way too much. I'm going to create the rough shape of the handle that we want. And I want a handle that my fingers can get underneath, that's solid. And if I was good at this, I would have prepped these so that they were all ready just to put on. But, you know, I'm learning as I go. So we have, again, things are going to shrink, so they have to be made larger than you really want the end product. So it's going to attach along this edge, and this lower edge will stick out, something like that. Now, there's so many questions on how to do this. First thing though, we have to make the second handle that same size. It'll work out much better. And here again, could use the slab roller if a person was doing a number of them, and then just cut them out. Could use a rolling pin to flatten them out. But since this is a personal item, I'm not all that concerned about perfection. If I was going to one of you all, I would make sure that it was a neater handle. I'm trying to learn how to do that works carefully and accurately piece. So, those pretty much the same size and shape. All right, so I'm thinking about like this. Hey, Baldric, I hope you're having a great day. Can't wait to see you next down at Golf Wars. Okay, so this seems like a good place to put it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribe a line along the top. Score it. Poking holes in here. You know, Baldric, you need to get me a design for the mugs that you want. Because Dag will be here in January and we want to make them and be able to bring them back. So, I'm going to squish this on. A little bit closer at the top than I wanted. Just because I wanted to have space for my fingers to fit in. I've already been thinking about what I want to cook in here. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do, what is the chicken coq au vin. Well, this might be a little big, but we've got plenty of room to get the hand underneath here to have a good hold. We also want to make sure that there's good attachment because you don't want the handle to come off while you're taking something out of the oven. That would be bad. Next challenge. Finding the ruler. Ah, there it is. Ah, hey, Shava. What I need to do is try to get it so that these handles are opposite each other as much as possible. So, laying a ruler across the top, set a start point and an end point. Scribing our line. Scoring it. Get some extra water on there. Again, see, all nice and porous and lots of surface area that's wet. Getting this handle cleaned up. Now it's kind of interesting with you all watching. Makes me actually move slower, which is okay. I get into production mode far too easily. And that works out okay for some things, but not for everything. So, we have handles that are pretty much straight across from each other. they may not be as attractive as they might be, but they're there to serve that functional piece of being able to get the hands underneath it with pad holders on it and being able to move it easily and safely. So that goes over here to dry. And again, drying upside down. And I guess that says I've accomplished everything that I've intended to. Let me know if you have any other questions. I will try to answer them in future podcasts. Next time, I'll go live when I'm loading the kiln, I believe on Thursday afternoon. But I will verify and I'll put a post up so that you can watch the process of how does this then go into the kiln and what is the steps to make the kiln go to the temperature that it needs to go to. Thanks so much. Have a great day. It's been fun. Now I got to get back to work and actually accomplish finishing up all these pieces. Take care.